Okay, guys, I think we're getting started again. Let me just share. Let me share the link with people in Discord. Stream number 3 today. The second one, the battery failed, so I had to restart it, and then we had a shorter one for like 30 minutes or something. Pardonnez-moi. Let's wait for the people to join. Do you guys hear me? Live chat. Okay. Let's continue where we stopped. And we stopped at this file with the extension GAG. And basically all of us thought it's Turkish. Google thought it's Turkish. And then somebody who's actually Turkish native, Bill Gekhan here, said it's definitely not Turkish, but sounds similar to it, which is fun. So that's why you need to have people who are natives helping around these issues. So even here, somebody seems Turkish, translation kind of worked, and then even here, Anthropic Claude thought it's Turkish, but turns out it's not Turkish. Let's get back to our files. So let's go to fairsec. Here we are. So we failed at this assert. Language direction is CRHGAG. We have no idea what a GAG is. It's in this TIL dataset. So maybe a thing we could do quickly is open up the TIL. Let's go to download Paracorpora. Let's go to download TIL. Let's see where we can find anything interesting here. Turkic interlingua. So that's some Turkish language, but let's see what exactly is GAG. Oh my god, here it is. And we found it. Gagauz. Guys, we found a solution. As soon as my brain is rested, I found a solution immediately. Let me just send this to Discord. So here's the solution. Let me just send it here. Ever heard of it? Let's see what Google says about Gagauz. Or what this paper says about Gagauz. We include 22 Turkic languages, and they speak Cyrillic and Latin scripts. Interesting. So I think, yeah, we are filtering this one out. I'm fairly sure we will not be including this one because I don't think it's ever mentioned in the paper here. Definitely not. Gagauz is a no-go. Gagauz does not exist here. So we can add it to our list of data sets that we will successfully ignore. So GAG, apparently Ganda language according to Google Translate. Okay, so we're gonna remove this one. I'm gonna grab that one and say it's not supported. I'm gonna go to extended lengths and remove this one. Okay, and Then let's go to ISO mappings. Let's go to filtered, and let's add GG here. And now, guys, let's rerun. Let's rerun this and let's see what's the next error we hit. Because certainly there will be Azerbaijan. There's a couple more things we have to sort out, I'm sure. So, okay. UZBKAZ. Okay. What's KAZ? What's Uzbek language? That might be, again, macro language. And we have KAZ. KAZ. KAZ Cyrillic. Okay, fair enough. But the UZB is not supported directly here. Okay, let's just see which dataset is this. TIL again. And Uzbek. But which Uzbek? I have a feeling they didn't really try their best to make sure they're specific about languages. So let's see. Let's see. So for Uzbek, what do we support here? We support Northern Uzbek. But in general, there are two variants. There is also the Southern Uzbek. The Southern Uzbek apparently uses which script? It looks like it's Arabic. Okay, fair enough. So this is Southern Uzbek, so that means we are certain that we are dealing with UZN. So let's just go and add here, let's just add UZN. Let's just add Uzbek here as well. Let's see. Let me just add a comment again, as usually. The Southern variant uses Arabic script. Okay, fair enough. Let's rerun. And let's hit another error. And we are almost done, by the way. TIL. Azerbaijani. This is probably one of the last errors we'll hit. So Azerbaijani, again, it's ambiguous. For Azerbaijani, we support both languages, okay? So that might be problematic. Let's see which one are we using. I won't remember anything, but still great. No, it's still, I mean, it's still valuable. We have to fix our data. And I think it's fun, honestly, like seeing all of these languages and having people get involved. And let's see what Bilgahan says about this Gagauz language. I'm still at part 1. What is the minimum? I'm sorry, but with 400 USD, you will not be able to get any decent setup. But like what I suggest is use Colab. There are some free GPUs you can get on Colab. There are some free GPUs you can get on various cloud providers. You can just apply, and for the first couple of months, you have free GPU resources. Colab might be the best place. Okay. So how do we know which one are we using? Let's see. And by the way, let me just move this here so that it's not constantly opening up. Okay. Azerbaijani. So is it, so one is Arabic, one is Latin. Again, that makes things a bit easier. South one is Arabic. Let's see which one we hit. We hit Azerbaijani as the target inside of TIL. Let's go there. This is the TIL, right? This one. So Azerbaijani as the UZB Azerbaijani. This one. Azerbaijani. Okay, this definitely looks like it's northern version because it's apparently this is Latin as well. Although I would say this is more like Cyrillic. So this is the northern Latin version. Apparently. Later we can fix issues. People language champions can basically be, will verify that these texts are what the label says they are. Let's see whether we have any other Azerbaijani here. Let's see whether we have any Azerbaijani as the source. We have. Let's open up. Let's open up. All of them look the same almost, right? But not quite. No, sorry, this is not even the same script. Okay, Azerbaijani is here. And then Azerbaijani is here. Okay, they're all a bit different. But they're all the same in the sense of the script. So we conclude that we have AZJ Latin. AZJ Latin. Again, let's just add this. Okay. Let's just quickly skim through all of these. Yes, definitely. It looks like okay. Let's go. We supported that one. We can now hit again. What now? ENBN. What? How do we end up here? CAD 2020. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Okay, interesting. I thought all of our data sets have been mapped into 3-letter codes. This is fun. So let's see what's up. Okay. Indic, did we ever map Indic to 3? We should have. Okay. We should have mapped the directory to... Okay, I'm not sure. Let's just see one thing. Download parallel. CAD. That is not mentioned here, so I'm fairly sure that was a part of the... That was part of the Indic NLP dataset. Apologies. Okay, never mind. Let us now map if it's 2-letter code. Okay, and same for target. If the length is 2, then use this mapper, this small dictionary we have, to map to correct. And then we create a new language. We're gonna remap this. And then we're also gonna remap the files, right? We go through the files, suffix. We'll have to add it here as well. We need the same logic here for the suffix. If suffix is this, then go here. And then let's stop and let's rerun this. Let's make sure this makes sense. Let's just make sure we are not making any errors. Okay, so let's map. Let's map. Now let's map into the BCP47. Let's map to BCP47. Let's create this and let's see how this is going to now rename it. Okay, perfect. We iterate through the files, we get the suffix. Suffix is also like this. So yeah, this should now work. Let's just hit F5, and that's it, guys. Finally, all of the data sets are in the right format, which is perfect. Will the RTX 3060 be a good starter? Depends on what you want to do. Do you want to train, so how big of models do you want to train? Probably the most important feature is the VRAM size. Amount of memory on your GPU, video memory. Okay, guys. So there is some refactoring that has to be done, and I will do that as soon as we push this through the filtering pipeline. Let's now make sure that everything is working in the filtering pipeline. Okay, let's just quickly manually address let's manually make sure that everything looks fine. Okay, let me just see here. These are the ones that we are not using. I'm not sure why we are not using Tigray ER. Did they mention something about that? Just a second. Tigray. Tigrinia. Tigrinia. Okay. Ethiopia. Okay, for now, let's ignore it. We'll have to refine stuff further, but this is good enough. Again, let's quickly go through the data sets. Okay, this looks good. Okay. Obviously, there might be some small bugs that we have to sort out, but mostly this should work. Let me just write next steps. These are the next steps basically for tonight. I want to wrap this up, push out the changes, and create a plan for how we can collaborate more actively on the code and data. Let's go back to filter function. That means we're switching back to stopes. And let's go to filter function, filter script. So now we have to rerun some stuff. So that we get the new, so that the changes we just made to the data sets are reflected here. So first things first, included corpora and directions need to be recomputed, as well as these length factors are fine. We need to recompute train primary. We have to recompute this. So let's go and do that. To recompute those, we need to run the populate data config again. Let me just quickly see the length factor function. Okay. This one should be fine. Let's just rerun the populate one. Will we have any issues running this? Just a second, so we don't care about these. Data sets is the primary train data path. And then we have, this is the output. Okay, we can just rerun this. Let's run. Oh, sorry. We actually need to run with empty, no arguments config. This should not work. Okay, here we are. Open it up and call get primary. And get primary will now, so we'll be going through different directions. We grab direction, we split. Okay, and now I actually don't want to do this. I want to keep the source and target in the BCP47 code, and I want to use this. All of that makes sense. Some of them we might skip. Assert that we find one and one only. Grab the paths. Okay, this should not work, guys. Let's rerun. Looking good. Let's see what we skipped. We skipped a couple of them from NLLB seed. Interesting. Let's just open up the NLLB seed and see what happened there. Okay, here is the NLLB seed, and it was complaining about what? Let's say English Latin KAS Deva. No English Latin found. So English Latin KAS Deva. This one. English Latin KAS. Huh. Okay. Why is one Deva and one Arab? Okay. Let's see what's up. Could that be due to our processing? Is this Arab? This is not Arabic. Let's see if we go here. What's KAS? So these ones are okay. Snap. These ones are actually ambiguous. Okay, we might have to manually fix a couple of these. Is it Arab or is it Deva? Nothing is mentioned about KAS. KAS not mentioned. What's up here? This is definitely not Arab. So that means there is an error here. But I'm not sure why. Did I have to do that? Let's just create a note. Okay. Let's see what other ones it's complaining about. BJN Latin, English Latin. Okay, let's go to BJN Latin, English Latin. BJN Latin, BJN Arab. Again, failure here. This is obviously not, this is not Arab. So let's put Latin. And again, let me just add a note. Copy path. Okay. And then English Latin, KNC Latin. English Latin, KNC Latin. Okay, again, KNC should be Latin. We'll figure out what happened here soon, after we just get the filtering pipeline to run. What I'll do is I'll reproduce the whole setup I have locally, following my README, which I'm gonna create, and then you guys can also recreate this locally on your side if you wish. Let's go further. So that was KNC. English Latin, TAQ. English Latin, TAQ. TAQ. English Latin, TAQ, TF. Okay. So here again, some discrepancy. This is definitely not Latin. This is this. Interesting scripts, by the way. Very interesting. Okay. And finally, ACE Latin, English Latin. Okay. This is not Arab. Whoops. This is not Arab. This is, what's going on? Again, this is not Arab. This is Latin. Copy path. Probably some of the logic, some of the assumptions I made were violated. So now we have to pay the cost. And if these are some bugs, then who is guaranteeing us that we don't have a bit more bugs as well? So English to Odia, English Latin Ori. Okay, let's find that data set. Okay, here what it's complaining is English Latin, Okay, and then there is Oria. So what's the issue here? No English Latin files found. Really? Here it is. Let's see, once we rerun this, what's going on now. Let's rerun. We should have fixed most of these. Okay, and there is still just this one. So skipping, for some reason, English Latin. So one of these two is missing. Oh, I see. Because this is not Ori, it should be like this. Okay. And now we are done. Run this. Nice. Everything worked perfectly. We now have our train primary YAML with right directions, and all is good now. Let's go to filter. Let's open up the example. So we have to run this. We have to run the extract directions and corpora yet again. So unfiltered corpora, we open up the train primary, we grab the keys, and those are going to be directions. And then save corpora. Again, extend. Okay, this should be good. Let's just run this file with no arguments. And we are done. So that means now this is updated. Amazing. And this is also updated. Awesome. 37 data sets in total. Okay. Let's just quickly double check that the example makes sense. I think everything makes sense. Let's now just run and see how this behaves. Let me see whether I made any changes other than memory there. And here we have now passing paths instead of having to pass everything into YAML directly. That's why we have these two files. Okay. Let's run. And let's go step by step, because I'm first time running filter with these new changes. So will be worth to just, oops, wrong config. Let's rerun. So let's rerun this. Okay, here we are. So let's just go to the part that we stopped at the last time, and that's here. So we now go through directions and corpora. So direction split. We have our BCP47 codes. We grab corpus name. Okay. And then we go and submit to filter direction. So let's hit F5. Okay, here we are. So let's create each one of these filters. And now let's start filtering. So dataset output is gonna be here, train primary, Arab Latin. We create the corpus name and then the source here, okay? So if this is a file, we still didn't create it, so we skip that part. And then we go enter context. Let me just open up this. Let's see the name of this file path. Primary, train primary, and then direction. Fair enough. So that should be filter out, train primary, directions. Let's first, I made a mistake here. We should have deleted the previous directory. Let me just stop this. Let's stop that. Let's delete everything under filter out, which is our output directory. Otherwise, we have a ton of mess here. So here's the filter out. Let's just delete all of these. And now let's rerun the code. Okay, we are back. Now it's gonna be clean. We only have directions here, nothing happening yet. We skip this, we enter here, we create the output files for AC Arab, English Latin direction. AC Arab, English Latin, here it is. And we create yet another one. And now we go through all of the lines. So line first. So we can see source line and target line. Finally, guys, we are finally going through lines of our parallel corpus. Again, here we are dealing with, on one side, Arabic, and on the other side, English. That's why we have this. Okay. Normalize punctuation. Let's see how that's gonna change this line. Nothing significantly. And then we go through the filters. So let's now hit all of the filtering breakpoints. Yes, Martin. We are hitting the line in what length filter. So this was the part that was confusing me. Now that this is not none, okay, if not, I literally don't understand what happened here. Isn't this supposed, if this exists, oh no, wait. Oh, I was so confused. So if this is empty, then we go here, okay. I just made a terrible logical error the last time. Okay, so we enter here. We find the length of our sentence, which is 166. So if that's smaller than this, we filter, which is not. If it's bigger than 1050, then we filter, which is not. And then we grab the target length, 109. Again, this will not be filtered. Let's see the ratio finally. The ratio will be what? Ratio is 1.5. Only if that's bigger than 9. Only in that case do we filter out. Okay, just a second, guys. My girlfriend just came back home. I have to open up the door. Give me a second. Okay, guys, I'm back. Let's now continue. So ratio again. So this line will not be filtered out. And this will also not be hit. So what I would love to do here, maybe we can let's only, when we filter out the line, let's only set, that's when we're going to put a breakpoint on those points. So here, 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 and here. Okay? Until then, we don't care. Return the line. Line exists. We go and then we hit another filter. This one is going to be deduplication filter. Okay, let's go. So dedupe filter. Again, normalize for deduplication. So we grab the line, we strip, we lowercase it, we submit, we basically replace digits with zeros. So here is how it looks like. Then we remove non-printable characters or punctuation. And here's it now. And then we replace the tabs. And that's it. That's the first line. And then the second line, same thing. And then here we enter. We convert this to string. It should already be string, right? And then we just append to the normalize, we append English space with a tab. And then we hash this. So if it's already, if it's been seen, then we return none. But here it has not been seen. We'll skip these two because we're not doing that type of filtering. So we can basically exit here. Okay, that's it. That was our last filter. And now we write down that line. Guys, we are on our way to go through the whole filtering pipeline. Let's see whether we are hitting any issues, but so far this is literally everything we need to filter. We're doing deduplication when we're doing length filtering. Here's the second line. We can move these breakpoints. We can move all of these breakpoints. Let's just quickly remove. Okay, this one is actually too short. No, sorry, it's not. We need to put a breakpoint here. That was my mistake. Let's exit here. Okay. Okay, and finally deduplication filter. I need to remove this line here. And exit. And now I can just hit F5 and see how this whole thing goes. Okay, this is now a second process because we'll have multiple processes. This one is going to be a different language. So let's maybe quickly go through this particular language and see what's the corpus name. So this is again NLLB seed. Okay. Let's create the output files and we go through the lines. So the lines here have what? They have some language here that's, I'm not sure which language is this. let's see, by the suffix English Latin and ACE Latin. I think that's also Arabic or something, but just in Latin script. One of the Arabic languages, I mean. Okay, guys. Let's see whether we'll hit any filtering. Are we hitting any filters? No, we are not. And we can write that line. Okay, F5. Okay, this is the first time we are filtering a line, guys. So apparently there has been some duplicates. And we are hitting our first filter, which means line is none, and that means we break. And then because line is none, we continue and we don't write that file to the, we don't write that line to the output. Okay, so let's hit again. Now I'm gonna remove all of the breakpoints, disable all breakpoints, hit F5. Something is a bit stuck here. Let's just hit F5. Hit F5, hit F5 again, hit F5 again. So we just have a ton of processes running in the background. Guys, filtering is working. So far, so good. I don't see any errors. It seems it's running. It's processing the data in the background. It might take a while to finish this. Server PID 150.302 disconnected unexpectedly. Okay, we'll see at the end whether everything worked. I think we can just leave this to do its thing. System monitor, let me see how my system is performing here. Memory 30 gigabytes out of 67 for some reason. I have 64 gigabytes. I'm not sure why it's displaying 67. Sorry for not replying your questions. I was too excited to just wrap up the filtering pipeline. So let's see. Beginner road for AI ML engineer as a non-IT person in the 30s. It will be hard for me to explain everything I need there without digressing too much from the content of this stream. I suggest you check out my blogs on that topic. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Let me show you how to get started with machine learning. There is a ton of sponsored content, but my content comes on top here after the sponsored one. Check out this blog. Let me copy paste it into the chat. That's still how I would recommend you start. That's literally everything I would recommend still. Read this blog. That's gonna be everything you need. There is a ton of cool information inside. Okay, hit F5, hit F5, hit F5. There's a ton of processes, so I'm just trying to basically unblock all of them. As you can see here, we have as many processes as we have, I guess, data set. I think that's the thing, right? So for every, oh no, wait, for every direction we'll have to do the processing, right? So that means there's a ton of processes that we'll have to go through. I'm not sure whether the system will know how to handle these many processes. It's literally a ton of them. Okay, what I'm going to do, guys, is stop this. I'm gonna stop the filtering because I now have to hit F5 for each of the processes. I'm not sure where I can do run all. And I'm gonna delete the filter out. Just a second, so I'm gonna delete everything in here. And I'm gonna, again, disable all breakpoints and run the filtering pipeline. Let's see how that goes. Do you guys hear me? I see my live stream is for some reason stuck. No, it's good. Can somebody just type something in the chat and let me know if you can hear me? Yes, audio is fine. Thanks, Dylan. Preparing a ton of jobs here. There is a slew of jobs here. Okay, it's just running. Timed out. We should probably not be running this in a debugger. That might make it a bit easier. But let's see how this is going. It looks like most of them are wrapping up. Let's just let it run. But that's pretty much it. We've gone through the whole filtering pipeline today. Next thing, I want to refactor. I really want to refactor all of my changes and push that out. So let's do that. While this is running, let's go to FairSec. So we are now processing again our primary data. That's what's going on in the background. So we have to go and clean all of this. Let me navigate to the root. Okay, FairSec. Here we are. Let's see what did I modify. Git status. Some scripts that I need to add. And then I'll have to create, I'll need to create basically a README for how you can do the same thing. What's this file about? Okay, so that file is just a temporary one. I think we ignore this at the end. Oh no, this is the file that I used to create the mapping for the. Okay, this is actually a file that can be checked in. Location of that file is under data, temporary file. So under data, temporary file. I just need to, I have a ton of these files now here. Let's see how we can make this a bit nicer. Adapt, analyze, download. extended. ISO. Notes. Playground. I don't need this one. README. Temporary. So this guy is supposed to make a mapping between 3-letter codes and PCP47. So because that code is basically belongs to mappings, I'm just gonna add that as a comment below this one, and then I'm gonna basically make sure this is a bit cleaner. Later, let's just add a function. Something like that. And then comment it out for now. And then we can delete the temporary file. Okay, just some cleaning. Let's see what else. This is the actual JSON that I then pasted into the script, so we can remove that file. We can basically remove it. We can also remove the downloaded toxicity file. So that one contains toxicity lists for all languages. We want to keep that one. We want to add the adapt data structure. We want to add that one, but I'll have to obviously, oops, not copy, sorry. Hit add. Datasets, toxicity lists. Add that one. And then Flores 200 temporary file. What's that one? So under modeling scripts, under modeling scripts, Flores temporary file. Okay, that one was just supposed to pick okay, this is completely unnecessary. Let's see how we are progressing here with cleaning. Okay, okay, this is just downloaded. We can ignore all of this. We can remove these checkpoints as well. Remove this and also the one with suffix 2. Okay, that's it. And then notes, I want to add all of those. And then after I just add all of the files, I'll just clean them later in the second commit. So I'm gonna just first make sure we have everything in its current state. ISO mappings as well. Okay. YAML, 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 YAML. Okay, we can ignore all of those. That's it. Those are the files we'll be checking in. Everything else is just YAML or some data or some SPM model or or whatnot. That's it. So commit this. Okay, and then I have to push this. Whoops, snap. Something failed here. Okay, I don't like that. It says what? Has not produced any output. Okay. Maybe we have to, maybe there's some timeout built in. Let's just see how many of them fail, if not all of them. Until then, let's just push this to origin. By the way, guys, if anybody knows what's the easiest way to just set this up so that I don't have to put in the credentials every time when I want to push to origin on Ubuntu, let me know. Just a second. Okay. And we're done. Again, if you haven't seen this already, you will be able to see the actual repo where we'll be contributing to. Okay, we close down that one. No, I'm actually on Ubuntu directly. I have dual boot set up on my machine. Okay. Let's now do some refactoring. Okay. Why is this not working? This works on Windows. Okay, let's just use actual hash symbols. So get tool between this guy and this guy. Okay. Any tips for which thief tools do you use on Ubuntu, by the way? I need some graphical tool so I can compare stuff I have it on Windows. I think I use like WinDiff or something. Let me see what's a good option for Ubuntu. How many jobs will fail here? Yes, I had tilde. Spanish keyboard settings. It's not Spanish. I have USA setting. That should be the command, right? Cat and then tilde. I've been using it for years. It basically says go from the last commit and go 3 steps behind. Go 3 commits behind. I'm looking for diff tool. Git diff tool for Ubuntu. Something that just works. Maybe meld. I can try a couple of these tools. Let's just see. Set the diff tool. Verify. Compare commits. Okay, that's what I want to do, but I don't want to use Vim. I want to have some graphical tool. Maybe let's try meld. Let's see whether we have meld first. Should I just do sudo apt, or is there anything smarter? Anybody uses meld? Let's just see what we get with the default tool. Okay, looking good. Now let's set my div tool. Let's see what's my default value now. Nothing. Okay. So because of that, let's first run with meld. And then we can run git diff tool. Hopefully. Okay. Doesn't look truly great. Left and right. So new files here. Let's see one by one. Okay, fair enough. I'll have to get a bit used to this new interface. So how do I go back? Okay, slurm. That's cool. Do you guys see it? Looks like a decent tool so far. Let's see how it will work. How it will stand the test of time. Indexed one. Okay, these are just some fixes I made before. Okay. And then transcript. You can barely see where the changes are. That's something I don't like here as a first impression. Okay. And then nice. So I guess most of the files are just under data. Everything relevant really lies under data directory. So let's go and analyze those and make sure they are refactored. Transcript. Okay. Let me open up utils. Let's see what we can do here. I want to somehow combine all of these together. We need to refactor this, see where this is used, this, and this. So 7 files. This is the easiest one. Let's start with this one. Where did we actually download that one from? We downloaded that one from here. Let's just paste this. Okay. Maybe we can even automatically download it, but okay, for now, this is good enough. Go through the zip files, get the BCP code, unzip the file, and remove the zip. So why do we need this one exactly? Because that's the actual code, right? I don't know. I mostly used some graphical tools back at Microsoft and DeepMind, and then on Windows I'm using just WinDiff, and here I'm using Meld now. All of them work, man. It's not that big of a deal. Oftentimes I also use VS Code, but mostly when I just need, as you can see here, if you want to do like a single commit diff, I'm not sure where I would change. How would you change the number of commits you're comparing, or which commits are you comparing? I'm not sure. Maybe you can do that in VS Code as well. Let me just quickly see one thing here. What do we get if we do this? And then break. I think it's really important to just make sure this work looks decently so people can use it. Okay. What's going on? Oh, okay. There are no zips there anymore. Okay, this should be enough. I'm just not sure why what this line here does. So then we unzip. This makes sense with a password. And then move to root and remove the original zip. Sounds good. Let me just quickly use ChatGPT to again understand a bit better what this one is doing. I forgot. What does this bash code do? And then do something like this. Extracts the base name of the file by removing the zip extension. Okay. Fair enough. And is that actually, no, that's not actually BCP code, because it also has this TWL, which stands for toxicity word list. So that's the part that's confusing me. It has Let's just name it file prefix. Okay. Get the file name without extension, unzip, move the unzipped file to the root, and remove the original one. That's it. Looking good. Let's handle the rest. Utils. This one is supposed to be counting. This one is used for in the analyzed data. Script, maybe we can merge. No, I wouldn't merge mappings with utils because both of them serve a purpose. Let's maybe just first go through the notes. Let's kind of go through this README. Sure, this question was asked before, but how do you keep working 10 hours a day? It's more than 10 hours, man. Don't disrespect me. I don't know, like years of practice, and I worked out in the break, so I can work even more. And it feels very energizing also just to be working with you guys, honestly. I mentioned this anecdote a couple of times, but there was a person who spoke Central Kurdish while there were only a couple people in the stream, and I was at that precise moment analyzing some Kurdish file. I was like, oh my god. Serendipity moment. Okay, so okay. So we have line codes present in our primary dataset, like below are the notes about how we are handling certain those problems. Thanks, Olamid. Thanks a lot, man. Below are the notes about how we are. By the way, if you didn't saw it yet, go to the Meta NLLB replication channel. That's the channel where we'll be chatting about everything related to this project. So that's the best place. This is Modern Standard Arabic. Okay. Okay. This is Afro language, but it's not supported. So okay. Let's see what else. So these are not supported, and then there is the ORM, which is basically a macro language. NLLB only supports a single language from that macro group. Now I need to quickly double check what am I doing with this extended lengths txt. Where am I calling that one? Okay, here. And then I'm using that here and here. Supported ISO languages, okay. Okay, we'll see how to handle this. I'm trying to make this in such a way that people can read this and understand what's going on. Sometimes I'm not sure what's going on, so let's just clean it up as much as possible. None of the files were in dataset files had gas as suffix / infix. So extended lengths Okay, let's see how this looks like when somebody's reading it. Sounds good. Let's continue here. Kurdish. Some files had the Kurdish suffix. It's apparently Northern Kurdish. Okay. Let me just move the to-dos down below. Okay. Farsi or Persian. Arabic macro language. Strictly text to text. Okay. It's a paper from Meta, yeah. If that's your question. Someone help understand this. What is this? And that's what happens when you even me, I can't understand my notes if I don't write them properly. Okay, so basically okay. For now, just text, but it is a dramatic, not architectural, but it's also just data sets and collecting data and mining data. If you're dealing with audio or whatnot, it's completely different. I mean, completely different. It does take building different infrastructure. Okay, so we have some to-dos here. I'm gonna add this one to this list. Okay. By the way, guys, anyone in the stream, if you didn't see if you didn't saw this one, just potentially apply to be owner of your native language if it's not along the ones we already have here. Even if it is, more people the head doesn't hurt. Definitely, we need more help. 100%. Okay, let's start. Let's wrap this up. Okay. No, not RLHF. It's for dataset verification and just helping around to make sure we're not making any mistake for that language. Making any types of mistakes, like maybe it's wrong label, it's not the language that we thought it is, stuff like that. You can double click and then backtick for efficiency. Double click and then backtick. Wait. Well, that's I'm not sure how that helps me because TRC. Okay. Almost done. Dinka. Okay. MSA. Malay macro language. And this was the last one. I don't see it mentioned in NLLB paper. We should fill it out. Okay. Hey Robert, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's see how this looks like. Nope, not that. Okay, so these are just some notes I took while we were dealing with dataset preparations. Okay, so far so good. Let's see what else. We sorted those two. Let's now see extended lengths. Let me just see, what did I add here? Okay, these are the ones I've added. Kurdish, ORM, PUS, Farsi, Arabic, MSA, DIN. These are mostly, let me see, these are mostly macro languages. So that's what I mean by extended languages here. If we open up the notes here, we can quickly confirm that indeed all of these are macro. So Kurdish, I know that's a macro language. ORM is also Oromo macro language. PUS is Pashto macro language. Farsi is Persian macro language. Arabic, and then there is the Tigray, Ethiopia. There is the MSA, which is the Malay. There is the Din, which is Dinka macro language. There is the AZE, which is Azerbaijani, and there is the UZB, which is the Uzbek language. Okay. Let me just make a note on extended lengths. Okay. That's it. So this is all handled. Four more files to go. I'm gonna call this one dataset utils. Okay. Are all of these languages translation tasks trained together in batches, or would the model be iterative fine-tuned? We're gonna do the so-called 4-phase curriculum. You can check out the paper for the details, but the high-level idea is if a language is low resource, meaning it doesn't have that much bytetext, parallel corpus sentences, then you add it at the end, almost at the end of the training phase. And you start with high resource languages. You train on those constantly, and then every now and then you'll have 3 times when you add a new bucket of languages. So that's why it's called 4-stage a curriculum. Basically, you'll have initially a certain set of high-level languages, then you add a bit more after a certain number of end steps, then even more after n more steps, and then at the end you add the super low resource languages. And when I say n, it's not always obviously the same step. It depends. They calculated the number of steps based on overfitting experiments they've done. That's kind of the TLDR. Using the sub-process module and command count number of lines. God, I'm trying to remind myself what's the... I always forgot this boilerplate. Okay, done. So let's fix the... Let's fix the ISO mapping. This file needs to be fixed, and then these two are the main ones. Okay, let's fix this one a bit. This looks ugly. Let me first collapse this one. Let's collapse this one. Okay. Let's see what's going on quickly with the filtering pipeline. A couple of them failed, but how many? Not clear. These two are still running. I guess those are some English, some bigger data sets. So we'll see. We'll somehow have to figure out which ones failed. This output here looks like a mess. Let me see what we need to keep this and what we need to just filter out. This file is a mess. Let's just see how we can make it a bit less messy so people can understand what's going on. Super important. We've been dealing with data over the last days. I think we are progressing very fast, given that this is a very important task. The architecture is literally just encoder-decoder transformer. Really nothing fancy in the architecture itself, unless you're looking at the mixture of experts. what should be, how can we name this? Like a red list or something? What should be a good name for this variable? Let me think. Filtered lang codes doesn't sound really informative. Unsupported language codes. I think that's better. Okay. Ambiguous codes. We don't need this. Okay. Fair enough. Let's see this function. On this one here. Parsec examples, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Looking good. So then we just grab the languages and then we create let's rename this one to ISO That's precisely what this does. Okay. We go through the languages, we grab the lang in the script, and we just append this. Okay, fair enough. And then we don't need this. This was just for debugging purposes. And then we just store this. We can do import here. Okay. That's it. This is looking much cleaner now. Now let us wrap up the rest here. This is everything that we need to refactor. Everything below was scraped from the web. So I think we can just ignore this, so that people don't get confused. Let's just remove this, otherwise it's super ugly. This one looks clean. This one as well. We don't need this. Do we need this? Okay. Looking good. And this is the final thing we have to refactor. Did you incorporate the NLLB model into FairSec? No, it's actually Met already has done that for us. They've open sourced the code itself. I just have to add additional functionality because it's not perfect. They probably released some partial commit where not everything was still done, and so I'm just working my way around that. But most of the work has been done by them when it comes to actual code. Luckily. Extended supported ISO 6393 codes. And this will be extended supported ISO 639 codes and scripts. Which is basically codes and scripts. Sounds good. And then this function is doing some filtering. So we grab the suffix. If it's not supported, we continue. If it's in the extended, then we will keep it. And we pass in the direction. Direction will be what? Let me just think for a second. What are we doing here exactly? That's fun because I wrote this function. It's always like you have to be, if nothing else, you have to be kind to yourself. By writing code that the future you can actually parse and be like, what happened here? So here we grab, this is the ISO 6393 code, right? So we pass that here. What about this? Aha. So if the file itself this is kind of messy because it was before we added additional functionality for how we modify the structure of our data. How I possibly pulled that off, literally. Why don't you love me, future self? Wait. Wait just a sec here. What's going on? NLLB seed. Let me just see one thing. Datasets, NLLB seed. And then here. So all of them have suffixes. Okay. So that means I think we should never hit this line. We should never hit this line. So that leaves us with what? If it's not supported, then we just filter it out. Otherwise, if the suffix is here, then we grab the code and we pass the code in. Okay? If it's in the extended codes, then we just pass the code itself. And if it's in the keys here, that means it's the 2-letter code, then we map to the 3-letter code. So that means we are returning here file, and we are returning not the language direction, but we are returning the ISO codes. Okay, return supported files and ISO 6393 codes. That's it. So this one basically handles BCP 4049. Was that the code? 47, BCP 47. This one supports. Okay. Instead of doing this, let's just create supported ISO 6391 codes, and let's make that this, and then we can use that one actually. Okay. Looking good, guys. Now we have these 2 scripts and we are done. The code is ready. This is everything you need to do. You can download the code, you can download the data, you can run a couple of functions. The data is in the structure of the data will then be in the correct configuration, and then we can run filtering. So what I need to do is add to the README, I have to add a bit more information on how to prepare this. Okay. After this, we can start on data processing script pipeline, which includes binarization, sharding, etc. Looking good. What are the non-trained datasets for? Currently, they are not used for anything. We'll probably use them for some kinds of evaluations later down the road. Okay. Analyze the data. Let's see where we can run this and nothing fails. That would be a... How would you recommend we start looking into training the models for fine-tuning? You can start playing. I mean, they do have README instructions. It's gonna be a bit difficult. One thing is keep tracking the stream, because I'll be doing that myself. But they did provide instructions, it's just a bit convoluted. In terms of VMS hardware, in terms of that, I don't have a good reply. I think Colab, you can train 600 million parameter, the smallest checkpoint, probably even on Colab. Other than that, we will ask for some compute from stability, or that's still TBD. Once we get to that stage, or close to that stage, I'll ask in advance for some compute, and then we'll see how we're gonna. Now, obviously, we won't have that much compute that everybody can run their runs, but we'll see what's the best way forward. Okay. Directory where download the data. Okay, and now let's run this and see whether everything works as expected. So, did I break this or not? Analyze data, run. Of course I did break it. Why is this always... No, I don't need this prefix. Stop adding this. Now it should work. Okay, let's go. files. Okay, nothing will be here. And then we go and we get to the first one. And nothing is in there. Okay, now we have two files. And those are still there. Two files. Nothing. Okay. We are skipping certain files, one of them being PBS Arab. Why? You want to break something. What does that mean? PBS Arab, is that one supported? PBS Arab. PBS Arab. Let's go back here. PBS. Let's go to Arabic. PBS. No mention of PBS Arab. What is PBS? PBS Arab. Okay. Just a second, guys. This sounds awkwardly familiar. PUS. NLB only supports Southern or PBT. PBT Arab. So why? Wait, I'm confused. Why do we have PBS then? Was that a typo on my side? Should have been PBT. Tyco 19. Let's open up Tyco 19. Tyco 19. Ah, got it. More of a hacker mentality. For machine learning, you want to be a bit more pedantic about your work, I think. Okay, trying to figure out why we skipped this, because its suffix was PBS Arab, which was not among the supported ones, right? So we don't have extended lengths. PBS is not here. Okay, I think it was my mistake. PBT Arab is probably standard Arabic. PBT Southern Pashto. This should be PBTR because I've added it. This one was never in PUS. That one was never. So I added this one manually. I forgot to add a note. Okay. Just add a note like that. Southern Pashto or PBT, Southern or PBT. Okay, that's it. So that means I made a mistake there. Let's go to TICO 19. Let's find the English Latin PBS Arab. This is PBT. And this is PBT. Okay. Looking good. Let's rerun this. And see how it goes. So skipping train TSV, that's the only file we want to skip basically. Everything else we want to process. So now we go through files, and then for each of the files we collected, we count the lines, we grab the language code, and okay, that's it. Okay. I remember we might have had more. Found 94 languages. For each language direction. So we go through the language directions. Just a second. We're going through directories, we find the files, and then we just combine we combine those two. Will we ever even have more than 2? I doubt it. Let's assert we always have 2. Assert length of this is 2. And let's run it. Let's rerun it. Let me comment out this part. Okay. Oops, cancel. And let's rerun this code. Are we running? Looks like we are. 0. Okay, so 0 or 2. In those cases, it's fine. Okay, so let's run and let's see what we get. I know this was a bit less interesting part because I was just doing refactoring, but I had to do this also to catch potential issues. Okay, how many directions? 388 directions. And then we can plot all of that. Here is a plot of languages. Not really super useful, but works. Okay. So if length of this is 0, just continue. What happens with the files if this is 0? What will happen if files is 0? We will just end up with empty, and that's fine. So let's go back here. We don't need this. We just need this. And then we need to assert that this is always 2. In which case, we can just grab a single direction. We don't need this logic. We can just have file 1. We don't need the for loop. We just need to pass in 0 and 1. And then rename file I to file 0, language code I to code 0, J 0, oops, sorry, this is actually 1, and language code J becomes language code 1. And then we count the number of lines in 0 and in 1. And then if the lines don't match, then we skip. Well, if the lines don't match, in that case, we should raise an error. But let's be a bit more permissive for now. And then we just add this. Makes sense. Okay, and maybe okay, I think this is good enough. Just a note. And this script is now ready. We can submit this script as well. We're left with just one more file, and that's the most important file, arguably. If we wrap this up tonight, that would be amazing. Let me just remove some of the to-dos. So instead of 3-letter codes, let's use that format. This is done. This is done. There's some notes and stuff. Let's just clean this up a bit. Let me submit what I have so far. Again, we are in the PairSec code base. Okay, so we are in fairsec. Let's add all the changes we've done. So git add languages, notes on languages. That one is now ready. README, now ready. Adapt dataset structure. Analyze data. ISO code mappings. I'm going to rename that one to language mappings because we also have BCP47 code there. And then this one was renamed. YAML, 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 YAML. We ignore those. We ignore all of these. We add this one. And then finally, we're done. Okay. And let's see. Just paste in the code. And that's it. I've pushed that. Let's now just refactor this file a bit. And let me rename this one ISO code mappings, language code mappings. Okay, fair enough. And modify the structure. It expects that you've already run this file. The data sets should be in the following, should have the following structure: root, and then actually the data set name, and then language code 1. Data file with language code 1. Data file with language code 2. Exactly. That's roughly the expectations we have. We are wrapping up almost for the day, guys. It's been a long day. A ton of work has been done. Tomorrow, we're gonna robustify the filtering, and we're gonna see exactly what each of us, how can we distribute this work so that you can contribute for your own language and beyond that as well. Okay, let's just see this file again. I would love to rerun this one tomorrow just to test that stuff works. So let me just add a to-do here. try and rerun and see there are no additional gotchas. We've done this. Robustify filtering, and then we can run the binarization and sharding again. Let's see, fix the dataset structure and map to BCP47. Okay. Maybe we can call this shoehorn datasets into regular structure. Is shoehorn the right word? Shoehorn, meaning, yeah, shoehorn. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna do one thing. I'm going to download yet another. Hey, Rajan. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome back. What is the update? Ooh, ton of work, man. We managed to get all of the data sets in the regular structure, the expected structure, and then we ran the filtering. We analyzed the filtering code earlier today, figured out every detail there, and then we run it. There are some errors that some of the jobs are outputting empty files, so I need to sort it out tomorrow. But like we are roughly progressing slowly towards the data preparation phase where we'll be doing the sharding and binarization. That's kind of the idea. Now I want to re-download the data and go through these two functions, make sure they are working, so that you can basically reconstruct this on your own side as well. So you can start playing. Let me just do that. Let me go to download parallel corpora. Let me specify the directory. So download primary data. Let's see. So under data, and then under datasets test, dataset 2. Okay. Looking good. Let me go and re-download the data. Let's see whether it all works. Run. Parse directory. Creating directory. And then let's kick off the download. And that's it. I'm gonna do this in the background until tomorrow morning. We'll have this re-downloaded. Then we're going to just make sure that this modified dataset structure script is working as expected, that everything is documented, every single step is documented. And then we can transition to robustifying filtering, and then finally preparing the data, doing the sharding and binarization. After that, we can start slowly training smaller checkpoints. once we get to that part where data is ready, it's a matter of kicking off a training run. It should be fairly easy. Okay, again, I'm downloading here 14 gigabytes. So this is, I think, the right moment, guys, to stop for the day. It's been a long stream. Well, 3 streams, so roughly 10 hours today. Progressing very nicely. I'm seeing a lot of interest from the community. That's amazing. A lot of you have been contributing, helping to translate, understand the language of some of these snippets. Some people were helping by pasting some links. One of you guys sent the toxicity list today as well, so I couldn't find it, and then somebody sent the link. So truly amazing experience here. Hey Yaski, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it. Okay, guys, see you tomorrow. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and catch you soon. Cheers, guys.